Hey guys, it's Tessa. So today I figured, since it's about the start of the year, I would kind of go over like the goals I have for the year slash just things I kind of want to accomplish in the year. I'm working on a project as well at the moment. It's a gift for one of my friends. So I figured I'd take you along with me. You can crochet, listen to me talk, you can do whatever you want, listen to me yap. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. So to start, I really want to do some version of like a market or a convention of some sort. I really think this would be a fun way to like get my name out there, as well as I know I have a ton of products at the moment and they're taking up so much space in my house at the moment that yeah, I think it would just be a good opportunity and a decent time to do it as well in this early part of the year if I can. And then I know that there's a couple farmers markets near me. I'm hoping I can find someone else who also like crochets or crafts and does markets, because then I can just see if I can join them one of the days, see if it's really worth it for me to begin with, and go from there. I think it'd be really fun. I really like going to things like conventions or farmers markets or things like that. I think they're really entertaining and fun to be at. And I think it'd just be interesting to be on the seller side of things versus the buyer side. There's at least 2 markets that I'm interested in that I may have an opportunity at. There's one that's fairly new, so I know they don't have a lot of people coming to it, and it's on Sundays, I believe. But I've already talked to the person who runs that one, and they said if I was interested at all, he would give me the base rate and I'd be able to do a trial run essentially, which is kind of nice. The other market is much larger, much busier, and is a bit more like formed, put together. Maybe professional is the word I'm looking for. I'm not exactly sure. But basically that this second market has been going on for years at this point, at least. My husband actually used to work at a vendor that's there usually. And I used to go to it all the time with my family when I lived near there. But yeah, their process is a little more complicated. I'd have to sign up, hopefully be picked, and then I believe I'm locked into like a year-long contract from my understanding. Luckily, again, since my husband was a vendor there or worked at one of the vendor stalls there, he has a little bit of information on it, but this was a couple years ago at this point, or almost 4 years ago or 5 years ago at this point. So I'm not sure if their policies or procedures have changed at all. I'm typically busy on Saturday afternoons, but since farmers markets are usually in the morning till 1 or 2, I can probably make it work with my schedule, which is nice. But that was really interesting. That one also requires business insurance, as well as like a pop-up tent, your table space, all that. You're essentially funding all of that stuff yourself typically for markets. But yeah, it requires, I believe, a business license and a insurance for those 2. I believe most conventions also require insurance. I don't know about business licenses though, because there have been a few times when I've gone to one of the conventions I'm thinking of, and I'm pretty sure there's at least a few people there that do not have business licenses. But again, it would just depend. I'd have to look into it a bit more, and I know for California their business licenses are a little funny. Like, it's done a kind of weird way from what I know. Anyway, but yeah, I think it'd be fun to do a market or a convention of some sort. Next thing is I want to make sure I have more listings up on my Etsy. I just like to have variety, and I think it would be beneficial if I just did have the variety of products. I think it would help cater to more people, as well as just help me not feel like stuck on making certain items or one item in particular. Additionally, I just want to be more regular on posting on Instagram. I think currently I only post about once a week outside of my weekly posts for these videos. I think I only post about once a week outside of those posts, which is fine. But I know with like Instagram, I believe for their like, I don't remember what it's called, but basically how to get more people seeing your stuff. You need to be posting either every day or like every other day. And currently I don't do that. But yeah, so I just want to be more up to date on it or do it more consistently. I've been trying to, but I still think I could do more and should do more. I also want to aim, whether this is selling through Etsy or in person, I want to sell like 1 to 3 items a month if I can. I think that would be nice. Again, it would help get my name out there a bit, as well as make me feel like I'm actually doing something. I mostly sell to my friends, and even then I haven't sold to any of them in a little bit. I think the last order I really did for one of my friends was that large, like 40 item, $300 order, which is so much fun to make, don't get me wrong. And that was a ton of items. But I would just like to maybe sell like 1 to 3 items a month. I think it would just be nice. It would be some fun stuff to do. But yeah. The big goal, which is kind of outside of the shop and this YouTube and stuff like that. This YouTube, one of my 50. Outside of YouTube and like my shop. I just want to keep my yarn and fabric stash organized. I was able to finally organize it only like a weekend ago. You can kind of see it here. See how everything is on the shelves and not looking like a nightmare? Except for this pile of yarn. You can ignore that. But like everything looks decent and like semi-organized, and it makes me feel a lot better than I was feeling previously about it. So that's nice. But I just want to make sure I'm maintaining it. But yeah, so I just want to make sure I'm maintaining my yarn stash, keeping it nice and organized, keeping my fabric stash nice and organized. That's currently in a giant bag from Joann's. And then with that, I guess this kind of goes hand in hand with my final point, or my current final point. I might tag on some more words here at the end. But I want to try not to impulse buy yarn so much. I have a really bad habit of going into like Joann's or Michael's or Hobby Lobby and being like, I only need yarn for this one project. It's only like 2 balls of yarn. And then I see a colorway or I see a like subdivision of a brand that I'd never seen before, and I just have to buy it. Like for instance, this is the Facets by Loops and Threads. But I originally went into the store to get, I think, like a couple colors of like rainbow that I didn't have. And then I walked out with like 8 or 9 balls of this in just different colors. And I'm like, what was the point of this? I'm not going to use this yarn. What am I doing? So that was kind of frustrating, but that happens fairly often with me. So I think I just need to limit more what I'm spending, what I'm getting, making sure I have space for it, because for a long time, why my yarn stash was so messy is I didn't think I had space for everything. And so it was just piles of bags of yarn and stuff that just need to be put away, and it hadn't been. But I guess those points again go kind of hand in hand with each other, because I think that's just beneficial. I also want to release a couple patterns this year if I can. I've been working on quite a few actually, but I want to release a few of them as soon as possible, just so that I can feel like more useful. I like making things, but I also like making patterns. I like being able to help others make things, if that makes sense. And I think it would just be really nice to sell some patterns. It's one of the things that's really good about selling like digital items or like download items is it's passive income. So I don't constantly have to update this listing and make sure that I have all the items or I have all the yarn or I have all the this or that for it. I can just know it's a digital pattern. I can sell 100 of them and I still don't have to do anything for it. Or I don't have to double check all my stock and things like that for it. So my plan hopefully is by June of 2025 to have at least 2 patterns available. I'm in a couple groups on social media. I'm in a couple groups on Facebook for crafters and things like that. So I'm gonna see maybe if I can have them help me pattern test. I don't have a lot of followers on my Instagram, so I don't think there'd be much purpose in it that way. But definitely once I get more followers, I'd like to also do giveaways if I can, which would be really cool and really fun. I know a couple other people do that, and I'm thinking like maybe once I hit 100 followers on Instagram, I'll do my first giveaway, and then like every couple hundred after that. I don't know. In general, like I want to do giveaways. I think it'd be really fun, even if it's giving away like one of, you know, these guys, or if it's just a pattern or a like discount code, a one-time use code for something in my shop. Something like that. I don't know, I think it'd be really fun. Or even if I'm just like giving away supplies like yarn bowls. I have 2 of them and I don't use them very often. I have a ton of crochet hook sets and things like that. I think it would just be fun. But yeah, I also have been thinking of wanting to lean a little bit more towards crochet yarn related videos more than like all around crafting, like sewing, knitting, and crocheting. Just because I do tend to feel overwhelmed sometimes, so I think I might just streamline my videos for this year to be mostly crocheting / knitting. I might even do some weaving ones because I would love to get back into weaving. I think currently that's what I'm thinking. I'd like to also make some more amigurumi guys. I think I say that word wrong, but that's like the little stuffed animal dudes. Like Grimming Goats, for example, has a really cute Baphomet pattern that I want to get, and I want to make a bunch of those. I'm using inspiration from one of her photos to update one of those hoods I make. But yeah, so I'm kind of looking at that, and then I'm also looking at the game Cult of the Lamb. They have a little goat in there too, or a lamb in there too. So I'm using those horns to kind of resemble as well for one of those hoods I've been making. It'll probably be listed by the time this video goes out if I get to it in time. But yeah, so that's really exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. I know it's a little bit different from my normal format, but let me know if this is maybe a format you want to see more of. I'd happily sit here and do more videos like this if you guys are interested in watching them. And I also just want to say thank you to everyone who is subscribing or is just watching my videos. It's really fun to be able to, you know, have me. It's really nice to have the ability to chat with other people, or if I'm struggling, I can ask you guys questions and you'll be able to help me. And I think it's just a really fun experience to be able to kind of create a community like this or work within a community like this. But that is it for today's video. If you guys have any questions for me, or if you have any suggestions on anything I've said, I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. I'll see you next week. Bye.